The air was thick with the scent of damp earth, and the faint beam of John Edward Jones' headlamp flickered against the jagged walls of Nutty Putty Cave. It was November 24th, 2009, and John, a 26-year-old medical student, had joined his brother and friends for what was supposed to be a thrilling but manageable spelunking adventure. Nutty Putty Cave, located in Utah, was known for its tight squeezes and winding passages, but it was also considered a beginner-friendly cave. John, a father of one with another child on the way, was eager for a break from his studies and a chance to bond with his brother. None of them could have imagined the horror that awaited them deep within the earth. The group had been exploring for hours, laughing and joking as they navigated the cave's labyrinthine tunnels. John, confident and curious, decided to venture into a narrow passage known as the birth canal. It was a tight squeeze, but he had managed similar challenges earlier in the day. This time, however, something went terribly wrong. As John wriggled forward, the walls seemed to close in around him. His chest pressed against the cold, unyielding rock, and his breathing grew shallow. He tried to push himself forward, but the passage narrowed even more, pinning him in place. Panic surged through him as he realized he couldn't move. His headlamp cast eerie shadows on the walls, and the darkness seemed to press in from all sides. He called out to his brother Josh, who was nearby. Josh scrambled to help, but the passage was too tight for him to reach John. John's friends quickly realized the gravity of the situation. They tried to pull him free, but the more they tugged, the more firmly he became wedged. John was stuck upside down, his head lower than his feet, in a space barely wider than his body. The weight of his own body pressed against his chest, making it increasingly difficult to breathe. The cold seeped into his bones, and the silence of the cave was broken only by his labored breaths and the distant drip of water. Rescue teams were called, and soon the cave was swarming with emergency responders. They worked tirelessly, drilling into the rock and attempting to rig a pulley system to free John. Hours turned into a day, and the situation grew more desperate. John's body began to shut down from the strain of being inverted for so long. He drifted in and out of consciousness, his thoughts drifting to his pregnant wife and young daughter. He whispered prayers, hoping for a miracle, but the cave was unforgiving. Despite the heroic efforts of the rescuers, the narrow passage and unstable rock made it impossible to free John. As the hours dragged on, it became clear that there was no way to save him. John's breathing grew weaker, and his heart finally gave out after nearly 28 hours of being trapped. The rescuers, exhausted and heartbroken, were forced to admit defeat. In the aftermath of the tragedy, Nutty Putty Cave was permanently sealed, becoming John's final resting place. A plaque was placed at the entrance to honor his memory, and the cave was left undisturbed, a silent tomb deep within the earth. The story of John Edward Jones serves as a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows, even in places that seem safe. The narrow passages of Nutty Putty Cave, once a playground for adventurers, now stand as a monument to a life cut tragically short and a chilling testament to the unforgiving power of nature.